If you want to introduce yourself into the chat, feel free. We'd love to know like where you're from. And we'll be using the chat throughout. So, and then Zoom is kind of dumb. So when you send a message, just make sure you change that little blue box before you click send that says to panelists and attendees. If not, no one else will see your response except for us. So don't forget.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyson. And you'll notice here on the screen, we're giving away free stickers to the first 5 people who follow at Lucidpress and then a little underscore after that on Instagram. So while we're waiting for more people to pile in here, we've got a large number of people on. We'll give it a few more minutes. Just go ahead and go on Instagram, give us a follow, and then put that in the chat box again. Change it to panelists and attendees so we can all see it. Tyson, who is our social media expert and really all things design expert, he will be checking in on that. And then, you know, once he's made sure that we do have a follow there, he's going to go ahead and send you a free sticker that says "Respect the brand." So we love our stickers at Lucid.
Yeah, and the chat's like blowing up. So I'm going to try to make sure I get the 5 people. Looks like I so far have 2.
Nice.
And
We've got
then
people tuning in from everywhere. In the United States, it looks like we've got a ton of people. I'm trying to see if there's anybody. Usually we'll get some people in Chile and all over the place. Somebody's in Ogden, Utah. We're in Salt Lake, Utah, so pretty dang close. We've got Stephen or Stefan, sorry, I don't know which one, from the UK. That's awesome. Welcome. This meeting will be recorded, by the way. So for those who it's, you know, midnight or 2 a.m. right now, we will be able to send to them as well. And you'll find it on our Help Center page afterwards as well, if you want to view it. And for everybody that registered, which is all of you, you'll be getting the email directly with the recording. So be sure to take good notes. There will be lots of exciting stuff in here, but know that you can always go back and rewatch this. All righty, Tyson, should we start?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, and a note, we've got Larissa and Tyson will be in the chat a little bit too when he's not presenting. Because I'm sharing screen, I'm not really going to be paying attention, but I promise your questions are important to me. Put them in that Q&A section again. That way they don't get lost in the chit chatter. But if you want to use the chat and say, this is awesome, this is a cool feature, we want to see that. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is Master the Basics Part 3. We did Part 1 in November, Part 2 in December, and now we're doing Part 3. And this is the first time we're doing this series. So if you've been to all 3 of these, I'd love to know in the chat box. Tell me if you've been to all 3. We're going to actually be doing this on a rotating basis. So starting next month, we're going to do Mastering the Basics Part 1 again, which is very introductory Lucidpress. You might want to tell all your other friends about it, or, you know, if you're in an enterprise organization, other folks who, you know, might be just joining for the first time and need kind of that brief overview to help them know what they're doing. These are really fun to do, and we're going to continue to do them. So this is an advanced course. We're going to be covering advanced features. Keep that in mind. Some of these features will be enterprise level features. So if you're joining and you have a free account, great, welcome. Know that if you don't have these, you can gain access to them. You just have to kind of level up your account. So I'm Bre, and I'm a customer success manager here. I work primarily with our large real estate and financial customers. And then we've got Tyson. I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah, so my name is Tyson. I actually started out on the customer success team with Bre about a year ago, and then I switched over to the graphic design team. So, and like my bio says, I love Oreos. I got an air fryer for the holidays, and air fried Oreos, literally the best thing in my life right now. They're so good. Definitely recommend.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyson. Feel free to log into Lucidpress and follow along. We highly recommend getting in there and kind of testing these things out as we go. If you'd rather pay attention, obviously, totally up to you, but highly recommend logging in. Now, if you haven't logged into Lucidpress in a while, you can log in by going through the forget password reset option. So you just put in your email that you have with your Lucidpress login, click forgot password, and then just put your email in again, and it'll send you a reset link. If you're brand new, you should be able to get a welcome to Lucidpress link that will help get you started by setting up your password. And if you have any questions afterwards, you can email myself. Tyson will go ahead and put my email in there, or you can email support and we can help you make sure you get logged in all right. Okay, so our goal, as I mentioned before, is to make sure we're taking your designs to the next level. This isn't beginner helping you understand how to get in the editor. This is for all of you advanced folks who want to kind of know some features that you may not know yet. So we're going to do a poll that Tyson's going to launch. Here's our agenda of the things we're going to cover: PDF imports, QR codes, off-page content, embedding in emails and websites, embedding documents and templates and such in emails and websites, our Express Docs partnership, and Buffer. So we're just curious, which of these features have you used in Lucidpress? Not just heard of, but actually used. And we're getting some results coming in. Want to give everybody a time to make sure they vote. We're at about 50%. So if you haven't yet voted, get your votes in and we'll show you these results. It looks
Well, and
like,
Bre, yeah, it looks like most people haven't used these features, which is really, really fun.
yeah, I'm glad you're here. You're in the right spot. And you can select more than one, you all probably saw. So if you are, you know, really on top of things and know about all these different things, you can select a bunch. But all right, Tyson, you want to go ahead and end the poll? So guys, we've got 53% of you who haven't used any of these. Again, we're glad that we can show you, sad that you don't know about them, but so pumped that we can share these with you and help you learn how to use them and level up your account. All right, so the first one that we're going to talk about is PDF imports. So this is pretty new. We've just had this in the past couple of months, and I'm going to go ahead and show this right here. Let me go to, so I'm in the editor, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and go to images. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on manage, okay, to get to my image manager page, which hopefully you've seen before. Now, let's say that, you know, I want to make sure that I have lots of evergreen content in my Lucidpress account. As you folks probably know, again, because we're talking to very advanced people here, PDFs aren't something that can be edited, right? It's kind of a standalone document. But if you want that evergreen content, what you can do is go here to upload, and there's a new option for pages from PDF. So I can go ahead and click on that and find myself a PDF. I hope I have a PDF in here somewhere. These are all my screenshots. Here's one. Okay, so I can upload this PDF, click open here, and you'll notice down here it's showing me, okay, this is a little bit bigger. It might take just a second, but it's not too long. There we go. It's uploaded. It's now in my image manager for me to use and insert in my document. So you'll find that in here when it's uploaded, and then you can go ahead and insert it into your document for further use. And then let's say that this is the PDF. Let's say it was an image or something that I uploaded that was in PDF format. Then what I could do is say, okay, you know, I want to keep it like that, or maybe I want to crop this a bit, okay, and only include, let's say if there's text, or I just want this image of these flowers, okay, totally weird use case, but we're using it. Then I can use this, again, it's not, I can't edit it, I can't edit the text if there's text in it, but I can use the PDF import to create that evergreen content, level up my account, maybe use some images that were in that PDF, etc. So really awesome feature, and highly recommend using it. We've got really great feedback so far. And by the way, with any of these features that we're showing you, if you have feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. So again, send us an email, let us know how it's going, what you like, what you wish was different. All right, Tyson.
Yeah, okay, so this one's a very quick feature, and I think 11% of you have used it, so I'm pretty excited for this. QR codes, we used it right at the beginning. It makes it very easy for people to access content, primarily using their phone. So what's really cool is you can generate a QR code for your Lucidpress documents without leaving Lucidpress. So this is how it works. So let's say you've designed maybe a presentation like the one that we're using right now, maybe a brochure, multi-page document. Maybe you want to put it, you know, a link to your business card, anything like that that you might have in Lucidpress. So you design it in Lucidpress, and then very easily, all you have to do is click File, and then way down at the bottom, it says Download Publish Document. And then if my screenshot was a little bit bigger, it would include QR code. So you click that, automatically it will download a PNG file of your QR code, and this will link directly to your published Lucidpress document. And then I also put kind of down there on the bottom right, a link to another website that I like to use to generate QR codes where, you know, if you don't actually have a Lucidpress document, you actually want to link to your social media pages or, you know, something outside of Lucidpress. That's the website that I use. It's very user-friendly, makes it, you know, pretty easy to use. All you have to do is copy and paste the URL and it creates a QR code for you. So that's mostly it. So if you have other questions about how to use QR codes, it's just kind of a little hidden feature in Lucidpress that you might not know about.
Yeah, thank you, Tyson. I'm just catching up on a couple things in the chat and the Q&A real quick. I was asked if I can make my screen bigger. My screen's as big as it can get. So if you're not joining from your laptop, I would highly recommend doing that. If you're joining from a phone, it might be a little bit more difficult, but my screen is as big as it can get. And then just one question I wanted to cover, since we just covered it with PDFs. Before, Lucidpress was able to support a PDF upload, but it would only upload that first page. Now it will upload the entire document, which is really beneficial for, again, that evergreen content. And that PDF will upload at whatever resolution the PDF was. All right.
And then Bre, can I jump in? It looks like we have another
Yeah.
question too of QR codes. So this is something that could be handy where you have kind of two different, you know, pieces of content. So you might have, let's say, a flyer that you want to give out, like maybe at a booth or at a specific event that you're going to. Maybe you're presenting like we are today and you want to have a QR code to another document. That's where people, if they have their phones out, they can then, you know, use their camera to scan that QR code and go directly to that other document that you've created. So that's kind of where it could be very useful. And someone asked if I can like show how to do it, but it's literally just in Lucidpress, you just click File and then download published URL. So that's about it. Yeah, and then we'll try to answer other questions about QR code kind of at the end. We have some other
If
great
you have
features.
any questions, again, put it in at the end and we'll answer them. Some of these we want you to be trying actually in your platform and asking questions when you come. So some of them we won't necessarily show the whole thing live, but we will show you the process and encourage you to kind of do that along with us. All righty. So the next thing we're going to cover is off-page content. Now, this is especially beneficial for those of you who are kind of teaching maybe your whole organization or team how to use a specific Lucidpress template that you have or document, right? Any piece of collateral. So let me go ahead and go back here to kind of the editor of our presentation that we have. And let me show you what that looks like. So first of all, you're going to want to go to your home screen, okay? And I just did that by clicking here. If you don't already know that, this will take you back to your home screen if you click from within the editor. And from within the editor, I can go ahead and go to my brand assets and I can go to my settings and I can actually turn on off-page content for all of my documents if I want to, okay? So before, what you had to do is you had to go into view and then let me find it really quickly. Sometimes I get lost in all these. Do you guys get lost in this stuff? Sometimes these drop downs are hard. By the way, if ever I'm like, I can't find anything quickly, what I'll do is click on this feature find. And I know it's about content that I need. Whoops. So I'm going to click content right here. And oh, look, I need show off page content. And it's going to point me right there. So I use that all of the time and I'm in Lucidpress every day. So no shame in using that, you guys. Use this all of the time. So I'm going to show my off-page content. This will show off-page content for one document. But if I want to change it for all my documents, like I said, you can make that change in your settings. Now, when you show off-page content, now what will happen, and hopefully this document isn't too big and won't kind of freak out on me with all my other tabs that I have open, but now I can create content. And as you guys can see, right, I can now see stuff that's off page. If you have that turned off and I move this off the canvas, off the document, I wouldn't be able to see that picture anymore. So this is really beneficial because what you can do is, if somebody opens a document and you need to provide them with instructions on how to use the template, or, make sure you switch out this image here, this image, right? This is actually something you're going to want to print versus this is something we want you to use only for social online stuff, digital stuff, not to print. Make sure that's clear. So you can do a bunch of stuff here with off-page content for training and just for overall helps to make sure that when somebody comes into this document, they know what they need to do with it and they don't get lost. All right, turn it over to Tyson for the next one.
Awesome. So this is a really cool feature, and it's going to be a little bit complicated, but I'm going to try to just kind of explain it. And then Larissa, if you can post maybe a link to our Help Center article about how to embed Lucidpress documents into an email. There's a lot of different steps, and we'll try to walk through those. So let's launch our next poll. I'm just curious if you have used any of these different email providers. So we have Campaign Monitor, Constant Contact, MailChimp, and then if you haven't used any of those or maybe other, obviously, people have used like Gmail, Outlook, kind of those more standardized, but these are more kind of email providers where they can send out massive amounts of email. So we'll just be kind of covering a little bit of how to use these. So pretty cool. So someone just asked, Pardo, I'm not totally sure how that one works. I haven't used that one personally, but I'm sure a lot of what we'll talk about, there's a way where you could get it in there. So cool. Thanks everybody for doing that. I'll share the results so everyone can see. It looks like most people have used MailChimp, which is the one that I kind of prefer. And there's a lot of mixed responses with the other ones. So great. Yeah. So let's focus on embedding in an email first, and then we'll go into embedding kind of on a website. So there's three different ways that you can go back. Sorry, you can go. There's three different ways that you can kind of send out an email using Lucidpress. So the first one is if you use like one page. This is kind of the, I don't know, most common way that people view email is they're scrolling through kind of this big long email. There's not like multiple pages in an email. So that's kind of the most common way. The second way is multiple pages. So this is something where if you have a Lucidpress document where it's maybe like a magazine, a brochure, something that has multiple pages that people are kind of flipping through, you can send that in an email as kind of like a preview. So people will then view it somewhere else. And we have examples of all of these. So this is just kind of a high overview. And then number three is a PDF attachment. So this is also very common, something where if you have a lot of pages, sometimes it's just easier to attach it to an email as a PDF.
Yeah, Tyson, before I go to the next slide, I noticed somebody had raised their hand. That feature is available in Zoom. Because of the format of this is webinar style. And so while we wish to hear all of your voices, mics are all muted. And so just make sure and put your question that you have in the Q&A section and we'll be sure to answer it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's focus on one page first. So this is something, if you want to design your email in Lucidpress kind of as a very common way that people are viewing an email, here's a screenshot of what it can look like. So it has to be on one page in Lucidpress, the whole document. So this is kind of where you may have to kind of design a little bit differently than you might expect. So you can kind of see over here on the right, we have a custom page size selected. I've just left it at 8.5. I've found that that's pretty fine for me and works for a lot of the emails that I've sent out. But then I adjust the height of the document based on how long and how much content I have. So 20 is usually kind of what I start at, and then I can kind of adjust and go from there. You can kind of see on the left, everything is on one page. I'm not going to use multiple pages and just kind of increase the page size as I need to. You can also see I've added images, buttons, so you can kind of see read more on our blog, watch our new video. Those shapes are hyperlinked where people can click on the email and it will open, a new tab where they can then interact with that content. So that's kind of how that design works. So once the design is done, we'll go to the next page. This is how it works to then share it out. So you click share and then embed in an email. If you haven't published your document to the web yet, it'll tell you to do that. And then you can kind of see that green check mark. It says, okay, you've published your document. And now let's walk through these different steps. They're a little bit confusing if you've never done it before, so that's why we're here covering it. Go back, Bre. So we have one link, which is where you, let's say you just want to send kind of a snapshot of your email. And basically it'll just be a flat image. None of your links or hyperlinks will work. People will click on it and it will just take them to Lucidpress where they can then view and interact with the document. I personally don't use this one that often. So if you have kind of a use case for that, then that works. But almost always I use the multiple links option. So that's that second one. So that means all of the hyperlinks that you have throughout that page will then work in your email. So kind of as a regular email. So I select multiple links, and then size, I have found that large works the best. I kind of like the way that that looks. You can kind of play around. Maybe you want to, have different font sizes, and maybe medium works out better, but you can easily adjust the size there. And then you have generate code and then create a campaign. So if your organization is already using Constant Contact, Campaign Monitor, and MailChimp, then you will click create campaign. And we already have integrations where you can sign into your account, schedule out the email using that provider, and then you can send it out. These options are really great because Campaign Monitor, Constant Contact, MailChimp, they all work very well with all of the different email systems that are out there. So we have, Yahoo, Gmail, Outlook. There's just so many, and they all kind of have different ways that they read emails. And so kind of going with an email provider like Constant Contact, MailChimp, they'll have figured out how to get those, those emails to read better. Generate code. This is where someone asked about Pardo and other kind of marketing, email marketing systems. You might want to generate HTML code, and then you can add it to that email and then send it out. So that's kind of how that works. Internally, we all use Gmail, and so I use generate code, and I send out emails all the time. And I know it works because I'm sending out to everyone who has a Gmail, and so the HTML just shows correctly and just looks well. So you might have to do some testing with generate code. Just email providers sometimes just do not play nicely. It's kind of a outdated thing. Awesome. Next slide.
Hey, Tyson, before we move on, we've got a question here that I'm going to have you answer. Do these meet accessibility requirements?
That is a good question. I know Lucidpress does have a way to add accessibility, but that might just be for PDFs and not for emails.
Yeah, so I think, to add to that, Lucidpress does have accessibility features. That's obviously important in many states, particularly California. And those are continuing to be worked on. Whether different providers that we integrate with have it or not, I don't know. I would assume they're fairly large companies that they do. But if you have any questions, I would probably go directly to MailChimp or Constant Contact to ask.
Yeah, and Patty just asked the question, will the email be one large picture or will it be text, images, and buttons? That's where the difference is between the one link and the multiple links come in. One link, one large, picture, it'll link to Lucidpress. Multiple links, you'll have your text, your images, your buttons, they'll all kind of interact individually.
Again, as a reminder, if you have questions, please don't put them in the chat box because they get lost in all of the hubbub that's going on there. Please put them in the Q&A section. Larissa is helping us with that, and then we will also have time at the end to answer. So if you're worried that your question hasn't been answered in the Q&A section, don't fret, we'll get to it, but we'll go ahead and move on.
Yeah, and then someone also asked, will the code be interactive to mobile and tablet? I have viewed emails before on my phone. And from what I remember, I was able to zoom in and out. And so I think it worked out nicely, but you might just have to kind of test. And I think if you send with MailChimp, Constant Contact, the other ones, it might be more responsive for mobile than it is just HTML. So multiple pages. So this is something where separate, you have your kind of long email. This is something where in Lucidpress, you have a magazine, an ebook, a brochure, something that has multiple pages that you want people to flip through and kind of read. You can send out just a preview of kind of that book for people to view in the email. So you can kind of see on the left, this is a snapshot from MailChimp, kind of one of their templates that they have. So you can add your logo, some text, and then below it is a preview of your document, this book called Welcome to the Design Democracy. So then people will then click on the thumbnail, and then you can see it will open a new tab where it shows in Lucidpress, and they can read through the different pages. So that is another option. So to do that, almost the exact same steps, you'll click share, embed in an email, and then it recognizes that your document has multiple pages in it. And so it basically will just select one link for you. Multiple links, I don't even think will be an option for you. I think it'll be grayed out. So you'll just click one link because you just want people to visit that book on another page so they can view all the pages. And then you can click the different size. And this is where small or medium might be better. It might fit kind of nicer with your email. And then you can generate the code or create your campaign. PDF, also the most simple. So if you have just kind of this massive email, you don't really have the other email platforms out there, always you can download your document in Lucidpress as a PDF and then attach it to your email that you're sending out. So that's the 3 different ways that you can send out an email using Lucidpress. And again, I highly recommend checking out the article in our help center. It'll kind of walk through the different platforms and kind of how to send them out, but that's a high overview. So embedding on a website, I know someone put in the Q&A, can you put a specific document in WordPress? And absolutely with this method. So maybe you have your own website. There are tons of different ones where you can kind of put them out there, but you can click share. And instead of embed in an email, you're going to click embed on a website. And then you'll see kind of very similar options as email where you can choose a different size, generate a code, and then you'll get HTML that you can then copy over to your website. So I know you can do this on WordPress, Wix, tons of other website hosting platforms. So that's about it. And it'll just show a little preview where people can interact right there on your website. So that's pretty cool. It won't actually take them to Lucidpress. So they'll actually see all of the pages right on your website.
Awesome. Thank you, Tyson. This is a specific feature that we're going to highlight that's specific to enterprise customers. So if you've heard of Express Docs, Express Docs is a printer. They're most common in the real estate world, but they print literally anything and everything. And we now integrate with them. Right now we integrate with a company that is also in Utah called Alexander's. And they're linked to everybody's account for printing. Again, like Tyson mentioned with the PDF, you could just download the PDF print ready and then send it off to your local printer if you want to. But if you want to print through Lucidpress, we do have Alexander's. Now this this is a feature available for our enterprise customers only. And if Express Docs is a printer you've worked with before, especially if there's any real estate folks listening in that you've worked with them in the past and maybe want to continue now that Lucidpress has this, please reach out to me, Bre at lucidpress.com. I'll say my email again, and we can kind of get that process rolling.
Yay. So I get to talk again of kind of a little bit complex feature, but this is something that I'm really passionate about since I manage all the social media content for Lucidpress. So Buffer is something that I think like 2 people said they've used before. So I'm really excited to kind of show how you can use this. So this is all about kind of social media. So let's say in Lucidpress, you have a social media document created. So this is something that would be really nice for Instagram or Facebook, since it's a square. Maybe for your team, you lock down the image so that people can swap it out. Maybe this is for like a rec center, and instead of advertising for the swim team, they want to maybe advertise some soccer programs that they got going on or basketball camps. And they can swap out the image, change the caption for the image, and then they can download it. So we'll just be showing you how to post that. So next page. So in Lucidpress, you kind of have 2 different ways that you can post to social media. The first one is the most standard, very popular. It's probably the most common way that you post to social media, and that is posting as an image. So you just design something basically like we just showed. In Lucidpress, you download it as a PNG or a JPEG, and then you upload it to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Also, bonus tip, I put an asterisk, like if your document has text on it, download it as a PNG and the quality will be way better than if you download it as a JPEG. So if it has no text, JPEG is the best, but PNG, please use that if it has text. The other option is to post as a published document. So we've talked a lot about this. If you have something that has multiple pages, this is where that comes in. You'll want to publish the document and then just paste that URL in Facebook or Instagram. That way people can visit the page and kind of interact with it more. So I have a screenshot on the next page of what this looks like. So posting as an image, you just upload it. This is an uploaded image to Facebook. It shows, you can put a caption, you can put a link in the caption. So that's pretty helpful. But then on the right, we have posting as a published document. So all of the kind of social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, as soon as you paste in a URL, it automatically generates that little thumbnail that says, oh, you can read the Bright Business booklet. And so they can click on it, and then it'll open a page where they can then read the whole thing, kind of like an article. So those are kind of the two different ways that you can post. So depending on what your content looks like, just know you have kind of those two different options to post.
And Tyson, we have a
Mhm.
question on if the image is interactive when it goes into the social media platform. Obviously, we have features such as a rotating slideshow of different images, which would rotate, assuming you publish it and then, put it on your social media. So there's different pieces that are interactive. That's kind of a broad question that I could dive way deeper into of all the different types of interactions that happen. But that's an example of something that we do have that's interactive would be the rotating slideshow of images.
Yeah. And if you post as an image, just know like the slideshow, those kind of features won't work there. Facebook literally just supports like just images and GIFs. So it's like there's not really interactivity that you can add if you post to those social media platforms.
I would also add, if it's okay, Tyson,
Mhm.
there's a question on posting directly from Lucidpress to Facebook and Instagram. So you can go in to share on the upper right-hand side and do post
Well,
to
actually,
social, and you'll see.
Go 2 slides, I think, Bre. I have a screenshot, I think,
Oh,
somewhere in
awesome. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, this one.
So when you click post to social, there's different options. This is showing the different options. Now, for example, with Instagram, and please click on this. I don't want to get way in the weeds with a bunch of these questions, but I will say that a lot of what we can do is restricted by who we're integrating with. That's kind of the story with all integrations. So Instagram, for example, doesn't allow us to do that, but we have the instructions for how you would do that from Lucidpress. And it's not directly within the platform because Instagram won't allow it, but you can do it quite simply. With Facebook, another restriction that they have that we can't do anything about is that you can post to, a team page or like a company, or sorry, your individual page, but you can't post to like a company or like team page. If you have a page for your team, it won't work. And that's just a restriction that Facebook has. So if you do face restrictions, more than likely they're coming from the person we're integrated, or not the person, but the company we're integrated with.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, so if you can go back one slide. So this is another option that I really like with posting to social media. So now that we've talked about kind of the two different ways that you can post, another option is Buffer. So Buffer is a kind of a social media scheduling platform. So it is free. You can just go to buffer.com. The free account will allow you to connect 3 of your social media accounts in one place. So this is what I really like. We actually use Buffer internally at Lucidpress. So you can kind of see a little screenshot of we have our Twitter account, our Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram all connected into Buffer. So then we can then schedule out social media posts. We can say, actually on Friday, I want to post this at 8:20 a.m. And it'll automatically post it for you. So I love this feature, something that's really great. And you can empower your entire team to kind of use it. So to post on Buffer, this is kind of where we'll go back to the screen. Let's say we have our summer swim team that we want to post. We'll click share on social media, and then we'll get this little screenshot where I can then click, oh, if I just want to post it directly to Twitter or directly to Facebook, Instagram, it'll walk you through those steps and you can post them to your accounts. But there's also Buffer. So you can click Buffer, and then it says step 1, download the image to your computer. And then after that, you can click step 2, which is go to Buffer. And instead of actually opening, Buffer, it'll open just a little window. If you've already signed in, you can then say, oh, I want to schedule this to Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Type in the individual captions for each of those. And then you can say, I want this to be scheduled for, sometime in the morning on Thursday. And then you click schedule. So that's what I really like. Pretty cool integration. And Buffer has pretty good features for a free account. So you can check it out, try it, see if you like it. And if there's any questions about social, we'll cover them at the end. So.
All righty, thank you, Tyson. So we're going to go ahead and launch a poll question. Those were the 6 really awesome features. And we want to hear from you now, which one you are most excited to use. And I want to get as many people to participate as possible. We're at 15% right now, so keep those coming in. We'll give you some time. Looks like people are really excited. Well, actually, I won't say what people are really excited about yet because I don't want to sway your opinion. So let's just wait for a little bit and we'll show the results at the end.
Yeah.
We've got 66%. There's still a bunch coming in. Send them in, send them in.
Yeah. And also too, once you finish answering, we'll jump into Q&A. So feel free to use that Q&A button and we'll try to answer as many questions as we can until noon. So that's about it.
We still got the votes coming in. Get them in quick in the next 10 seconds and then we'll go ahead and end. We're at 80%. So if you're part of the 20, you can do it. All right, I'll go ahead and end and share results here. All right, so it looks like embedding an email and website for the win. That's awesome, good. We hope what happens from this webinar, right, is that webinars are great and you can learn a lot from them and we're teaching you these different things, but unless you actually apply them, it's not going to do a whole lot of good for you. So we encourage you to actually go and do now. And if you need to rewatch this webinar, if you have questions later, you can email us. We want to make sure you're actually putting to use what we're teaching. So PDF imports were also exciting for everybody, and Buffer, it looks like those two tied for second. So again, we're really excited for all these features. Looks like there's excitement for all of them, and we're glad to hear that. I'm sure you're excited, by the way, for all of them, and you could only pick one, so it's okay, I understand. All righty. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide here. Tyson, this is you. Take it away.
Oh, crap. Okay, let's see who we got. Let's do our little random generator. Drum roll if we were in person. Okay, it looks like we have Julie Sullivan. So you won a $25 Amazon gift card. So
Julie,
we'll be reaching out.
Yay, that's so awesome. We'll reach out to you in an email and make sure that we have your information so that we can send that to you just via email.
Yeah, I'm writing it right down so I don't forget. Here we go. Cool.
Perfect. You're welcome, Julie. Thanks for coming. And we will be doing giveaways every single time for these Mastering the Basics. So if that's incentive enough for you to come, go ahead and try your odds at a reward that will be worth your time. So like I mentioned at the very beginning, we do Master the Basics every single month now. We've just completed our first round and we're back to Mastering the Basics Part 1. And Larissa, who's actually running support right now, will be doing that along with another one of our customer success managers, Patrick. And that will be Wednesday, February 17th. Tyson's going to go ahead and throw that link into the chat box, but the link's pretty short. We just used a bit.ly link. Go ahead and click on that and start to register right now for that, or send it to somebody on your team that might need kind of the very basics introduction to Lucidpress. So let's go ahead and jump right into the Q&A. We've got probably about 5 minutes and we're hoping to end around the Q2 mark. So it looks like there's a bunch that have come in. Let's start going through some of these. How can we get part 1 and 2 of these sessions? So you can go to our Lucidpress Help Center. You can get to the Help Center by going within your platform to this question mark right here. And you can go ahead and go to our videos section. We've also got courses, by the way. The courses are really awesome. There's some professional services that we offer, right? New features, like you can see all this stuff. If you go ahead and go to videos and resources, we upload them all there. We also upload them to our YouTube channel if you're not following our Lucidpress YouTube channel. And if you've registered for the events in the past, you should have received recordings. Again, if you haven't attended and want to attend live, we'll be doing these part one next month and part 2 in March. So we hope that you'll join us for those and share this with other people so that they can partake in the goodness of these webinars. Tyson, I'll let you answer the next one.
Yeah, the one that I'm looking at is just kind of this question of like, will they get access to the recordings of the session 1 and session 2? I'm not sure. Is that included? Do you know in the email?
Yeah,
That
it's not
goes
going to
out
be included if you didn't register for it. But like I said, you can get those videos by going to this resource right here or register for our upcoming events. So they all are recorded and put on our website.
Awesome. Okay. Let's answer Chelsea. So answer live. Can you show the slide of where to generate a QR code again? So if you can go to that slide, Bre. Pretty easily, if you just have a document open in Lucidpress, all you have to do is go to File and then Published, or Download Published Document QR code. But that option will be grayed out until you publish your document. So make sure that you publish it first, and then you can download your published URL.
Awesome. What do we use for our random generator? There's a ton of resources out there that we use to randomly generate. I think Lucidpress's favorite one to use is a pinwheel, where you just kind of insert all of the names or all of the whatever you're putting in for the options, and then you just start it and everybody can watch live, have it go through all the names. So there's lots of different options there. That's kind of a fun question.
I thought I saw a good question. Yeah, in the chat.
Oh, I wanted.
So
Sorry, Tyson, while you're kind of gathering thoughts for that one, I wanted to build on one that Larissa did already answer, but Jessica asked it, Jessica Norris. If you have off-page content on a document, does the other user need to check show off-page content in order to know/see that the content's there? It's a really good question. So if you enable it for your entire account, like we showed in the brand settings, it will show for everyone regardless. If you enable it for a template specifically, then anybody who clicks on that template will be able to see off-page content. If it's for your document specifically, that's actually a good question, and I'd recommend testing that. We always do all sorts of tests to see what does and doesn't work, but I know if it's a template and they click on that template and you've enabled it for that template specifically, they would be able to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it looks like Heather's question is just in the chat, just how can we reduce the size of a PDF when downloading it? And I know this is something where, yeah, if you have like a document with a ton of pages and you download it at 300 DPI, like the file size can get pretty big. So just know if you have a ton of images and a lot of pages, that's going to dramatically increase the size of your PDF when you download. The quickest way, honestly, is just when you download your PDF, change it from 300 to maybe 150. That'll like reduce the size by like more than half. So that'll be pretty easy. Sometimes if I want to kind of maintain quality a little bit, like sometimes if I download it at 150 and the images are a little bit blurry, sometimes I'll just download it at 300 and then I'll just do a PDF compressor. I just Google PDF compressor, and then I'll try to look up which one and post in the chat which one I like the most. And then that just dramatically reduces the file size, but I've just found that the images kind of stay the way that I like, but kind of depends. Those are two options.
Awesome. We have a question from someone, what version of the software do we need to have all these new features shown today? Some of them are available for anyone and everyone, and some aren't. So if you have any questions specifically about that, go ahead and message me, Bre at lucidpress.com, Bre at lucidpress.com. Happy to assist in any way that I can. Like I said, some of them everybody has access to. Some, for example, the Express Docs partnership, only our enterprise level customers have access to, but you can too if you want to upgrade. So these are all available to you if you want them. Let's see, Tyson, do you have?
Yeah, I'm posting the link to my PDF compressor that I really like. So there's that. So yeah, Scott, I use the exact same one as you. So I really like that one. Phyllis asked, can you forward an embedded email? Will it still work the same way? So yeah, so I'm assuming you mean like if you send out the email and then in your inbox, someone maybe forwards it or maybe replies to it. I don't know. Yes, it should work. I have seen some companies have like very strict email management by their ITs, or they use some sort of program to kind of manage them. And so sometimes when emails come in, whatever software that they have to like kind of prevent like HTML specific emails from coming through, sometimes it just like changes it all to text. So sometimes when you forward it, it might go back through that kind of compressor. I don't know. It just depends. But for the most part, you will be okay forwarding emails. It just kind of depends on your IT and what they might have in place. Bre, can I take this one too? Someone just Jessica asked a question related to email, and she said, "Can I forward an embedded email? Or when I do, links don't usually work. It's through Campaign Monitor." I haven't used Campaign Monitor that much, honestly, just for kind of testing to make sure that I can send an email and do screenshots and things like that. But that would be interesting to kind of look at. It might be a thing where you might have to click multiple links before you then put it on Campaign Monitor. There might also be a setting in Campaign Monitor, but yeah, if you email support@lucidpress.com, I'll put that in the chat. They can also take a look at it and maybe figure out why the links don't work when you use Campaign Monitor, but they should. So it might just be a quick setting.
Yeah, looks like we've had a couple people drop off. If you do need to go, totally fine. We're going to keep answering questions and get them all answered here. Before we head out, we want to make sure we finish the job. So we've got a question on what tab are you in to select the one page. Now, I'll make sure Tyson answers this one and I'll go to that slide. Again, if you do have questions about what we covered, know that there's a recording coming and you can go back and look at it. So some of these and figuring out how to make the features work are going to require some work on your part. And the best way to learn is really baptism by fire. Go try it out now that you kind of know it's available and know the general steps. Let me go back to this, Tyson, for you to talk about the one pager.
Yeah. So yeah, here we go. So to select the one page, make sure you have in Lucidpress that little right side panel open so that you can see kind of all of your different settings. And this might be two questions. I don't know which one they're asking about, whether how to make one page in Lucidpress or how to send an email as one page. I don't know. I'll try to answer both. So if you want to change the size of your document of one page, then yeah, that's all done on the right panel, kind of where Bre's mouse is. You'll change it to custom and then change the height of your document there. Once you're ready to publish or send out your email, you click at the very top, you can see on Bre's screen, share, and then you'll click embed in an email. And then that's where those two options are for one link and multiple link. And that's it. So hopefully that answers that question.
Awesome. Do you want to answer the one about the one of Virginia's, Tyson?
Yeah, Virginia's is, does bulk email programs have built-in templates? Yes. So I know I'm most familiar with MailChimp. That's the one that I've used a lot. They have tons of different templates already built out in MailChimp that you can use. But if you're using Lucidpress to design your email and then send it out through MailChimp, we also have a bunch of templates that you can use to kind of get inspiration for an email. I'll try to find that link and post that down in there. But yeah, so that's kind of how those templates are.
Awesome. And then bonus for everybody who stayed on so far. You're all troopers for going through all these questions with us, and hopefully we've been helpful in answering them. Yvette asks, can you put a poll in the Lucidpress document? So this isn't something I was planning on doing, so I'm kind of doing this randomly. Let me just stop sharing for a second so I can pull this up. Lucid software actually has 3 different products. So we were the second product created. The first product that was created is called Lucid Chart, and that's basically very similar format, but it's for all things chart, building out concepts, etc. Now we did just in quarantine come out with a new product, and it is called Lucid Spark. So while you can't inherently build a poll within a Lucidpress document, you could try out a free version of our Lucid Spark product. And again, we work primarily with Lucidpress, so this is just total bonus info, but I'm a big fan of this product. I don't want to like be a traitor to Lucidpress. That's definitely my number one, but this is like a really close tie. Like they're right up there with each other for my favorite products. So what you do to register is just go to lucidspark.com and you can register for a free account. And basically what Lucid Spark is, it's a eternally lasting whiteboard. I mean, you could go on forever. Obviously there's nothing in this, so you can't really see, but I'm scrolling everywhere, and I can scroll out here. You'll notice those dots got smaller. I can go in, like it's just a big collaborative whiteboard, and I can bring people into my document. Again, this is total extra. I'm gonna probably take up until noon. If anybody needs to jump, you're welcome to. But I'm gonna go ahead and name this polling example and save that. And I'm gonna go ahead and share this. I'm gonna get a shareable link here, and I'm gonna share this with Tyson so he can jump in. So let me really quickly share that with him and show you. So the goal of Lucid Spark really is kind of idea generation. I mean, it's a whiteboard, so you could do literally anything on it. But I've just shared that document with him, and I'm going to go into my team tool, and I'm actually going to turn on collaborator colors so that I have a color. I can switch that color. I want to be teal. Okay. When Tyson comes in, he can switch his color if he wants to. Tyson, are you getting that? I sent it to you on Slack. Okay, cool. So Tyson's in. He can change his color to blue if he wanted to. Okay, whatever. I guess we're both blue, so maybe you get to be yellow, Tyson. Now let's say that we're like brainstorming just because we have a travel bug, okay? We all have the travel bug, it's COVID. Let's say I'm brainstorming. I'm gonna use my sticky note option. And there's a couple different ways to do this. I can either clone these, what we call the stamping tool, and just make a bunch of different stickies as I'm going about it. Or my personal favorite is I can pull this sticky in. I'm on my color, which I want to be the case. This is Tyson's color. I can use the quick sticky option, and I can start brainstorming really quickly different places that I want to go. So I really love Japan. My last name is Japanese. I click enter. There we go. I want to go to Fiji. I want to go to Europe, right? Chicago would be a relatively close one for me. All right, so I can quickly brainstorm. Now, once Tyson's brainstormed a bunch, we can do a lot of different things, okay? And I won't go into like a ton of depth with this, but we could afterwards go through and say, okay, I want you to you know, react with ones that you like the best. And then you can actually do polling. So I can go ahead and go into my team tools, and I can go to voting. I can also set up a timer for like the amount of time that we brainstorm, which is really cool. But voting, kind of similar to polling, and I can set this up so that I don't need it to be a private vote. Every person gets 2 votes. I could put a timer on it if I want to, and instructions. And I'm going to go ahead and I am going to put a timer on this. I'm going to say 10 seconds. Me and Tyson are going to be quick on this, okay? And I'm going to start it. Now, once I start it, I have 2 votes, so I can go 1, 2, and you'll notice I can't vote anymore unless I take my votes away somewhere else. Once this timer ends, voting has ended, and all of a sudden now I can see the results and who voted for what. So during the voting session, I can't see what Tyson's voting for. I can just see that he's voted, therefore eliminating biases, etc. So that's a kind of a fun way to be able to poll, I guess you could say, or vote on different things within a document. Alrighty, do we have any other questions that have come in?
There is one. I know Larissa answered it, but it's again about email. Yeah, there's just so many things with email. So can I share my screen real quick for you?
Yes.
Cool. So this is an email that I design every month to kind of highlight all the stuff that marketing kind of does, all the collateral that we've created during the month. So someone asked, can you embed videos into your email that you're designing? So I'll kind of show how that works. You can kind of see I do, like, here are all of our blog posts that we've posted in November, and I hyperlink all of them so that when they're viewing the email, they can go directly to that article. I have a button where they can view the entire blog. But then this is what I do with videos. So you can't have a playable video in an email. Most email providers kind of like don't like it when you do that. So what I do is I download basically the thumbnail of the video, and I just link that to YouTube where they can then click on it and then view it in YouTube. So that's kind of what I do with videos. Works out pretty nicely, and it'll work with all the different email systems that are out there. So.
I was just typing a response, but I might as well go answer live right now. Yeah, Lucid Spark's really awesome. Glad you agree. And we do have access here at Lucid, all the employees, to every single platform. Obviously, if you want them, you're going to have to sign up for them separately. Sharon, for the background color, it's probably a more specific question. I'd go ahead and ask your Lucid Chart rep if you do have Lucid Chart, or you can email me later. I think the best way that I would kind of think to do that, just off the top of my head, would be creating like a rectangle or something shape and then changing the color and then brainstorming within that shape. You could make the shape super big, but it's an infinite canvas, so there's really not a way to change the entire board to one color, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. Yeah, eventually, I'm sure. I was like, I'd love to have a dark board.
Yeah, I mean, it's brand new. The product's only 4 months old now, I think. So awesome. Well, thanks again for joining, and we appreciate your time. We hope you enjoyed it. You'll be receiving a recording later on this week.